Hello everybody. Today we're going to try to replace a power window motor on a 1999 Pontiac Grand Prix. And we're going to try to do it in a way where we do not have to take out the whole entire power window assembly unit, but we're just going to hopefully be able to just replace the motor itself in a way that we do not have to take out all the other stuff. Okay, tools needed to replace a power window motor is going to be a number 30 star bit, either a screwdriver or on a end of a driver drill, a number 10 socket wrench, or perhaps open end or closed end socket might work as well, flathead screwdriver, and a putty knife or a door trim removal tool, some tape, either some mild duct tape or some strong masking tape or something like that, and a rag to cover your pry bar when taking off trim that's with vinyl. Okay, the first thing we're going to have to do obviously is take the door panel off. Now the first thing you'll notice is that you'll have to do is right under the handrest. I don't know if we can see this, but under the handrest there's you'll see two brown plastic knobs. You'll have to pop out the plastic knobs with maybe a screwdriver or something, and you're then gonna, if you can see right in there, I don't know if you can see, if I can shine a light in there, but you'll see two star bit screws, okay? And those are basically the main screws that are holding your door in, so we'll have to take those out. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, you'll take your T30 star bit, and it looks like this, okay? I do not have a star bit screwdriver, so I'm just going to have to use my cordless drill attachment and take those screws out. One at a time. There you go. Now the next thing we'll need to do obviously is pop the door trim off, and to do that we'll have to pop off the trim holders, or plastic trim connectors. They make a special tool for that. It's kind of a fork tool with a bend in it to get some leverage. I do not have one of those special tools, but you can use a putty knife, and if you're really careful, you should be able to pop them out. Just start by placing your putty knife inside one of the door sides, and if you can loosen them up, just pop out, and just kind of go around just very gently. Go around the door. Be sure this pops out on the top. I don't know if you can see this. There's a little speaker. There's a speaker, a place for a speaker up here. That has to be popped out on top, and just kind of go along the edge of the door panel. And when you need a trim connector, just kind of pop it out as best you can, very gently, without trying to pull out the hole, without breaking tabs, if you can. Okay, then once you pop the tabs out, slide it through you'll be sliding it through the door handle here. But what we're going to do first of all, we're going to pop the switch, or the door lock and power window switch. Now, when popping the power door and window switch, you can just take something like a flat head screwdriver with fairly big size blade, and maybe a cloth or something like that. You can fold over it. Kind of keeps it a little protected when you pop it off, and doesn't scratch the vinyl here. You want to start here on the bottom of the switch, the flat end, and just pry up in that area. Try to get under it and loosen that like that. So once it's loosened like that, just pull out the switch, and there's two connectors. The green one will be for the door lock, and the brown one will be for the power window itself. And just pop those off on the tab. You might have to work it up with a screwdriver, and so as not to damage the tabs, and just kind of work it up through its tab lock here. Okay, now that you have the switch assembly, or the switch off, you can pop the cords back underneath, take the door panel, slide it through the door lever, and it comes off. Now, what you'll see when you take it off on the back, you'll see there's going to be a couple more wires attached. One is going to be a wire here on top where the speaker is. You'll have to unhook that and take that speaker off, and just gently lay it on the side. The next wire, you can see this is on the end here, where there is a the light, the door light that goes on when you open the door, with the reflector on it, and you'll need to pop that off, that cord off as well. And I'm just going to need a screwdriver for the lock tab. Okay, and then you can set the door panel aside. Okay, once you get the door panel off, you're going to see you'll have this plastic water cover on the inside of the door, and we'll need to peel that back so we can get to the power window motor. And so we'll start on the bottom. There's this kind of sticky stuff holding it there, so if you can be a little careful and kind of peel that, it should stay with, most of it should stay with the plastic. We'll just peel this up. And we're not going to take it all off, because like I said in the beginning, we're going to try to do this in a way where we do not have to take off the whole window assembly unit. So maybe just take some tape and just kind of tape it out of the way. Okay, so we can get in and see what we're doing. Okay, here you'll see this is the power window motor. Okay, now what we're going to do before we go any further is we want to make sure you have your replacement motor. Okay, and what we're going to do is just test it out quick to make sure that this is what's necessary to replace, because we don't want to take off all this other stuff and find out that it's not a motor problem. So what I'm going to just do is I'm going to pull the pull the electrical plug, the connector plug, from the motor itself, and I'm just going to plug it into the new motor, or the replacement motor. Okay, plug it in like this. Okay, we're going to insert our switch back again, and all I have to do is just put the power switch on, just temporarily. Okay, now plug back power unit, and we'll turn the accessory on. Okay, and we're just going to test the new motor to make sure that works before we put it in. Okay, you see it turning back and forth? That's good. That means we have a good motor to replace. Okay, now that we have made the disconnections from the wire harness from the motor, you'll see that we have three bolts here. 1, 2, and here's the third one. Okay, we're going to take this one off, and we're going to loosen these two up to loosen the motor mount. Okay, we're just going to take your 30-point star bit, or you could probably take like a 1/2 inch socket or boxed-in wrench or something like that, and either one, and just take that off. I'm going to take the bottom one off first, and then the top ones we're just going to loosen. We're not going to take it all the way off. Okay. Okay, so you see we removed the bottom one and we loosened the top ones. Now what we can do at this point, we should be able to just lift the two off. You see there's a size hole with a slot then for the bolts to tighten to. So we can just lift those two off, move them through the holes, and we should just be able to drop that. Just kind of like so. Okay. Now if you notice at this point, on the back end of the motor is the plastic housing for the gear mechanism for the window to move it up and down. And on the front there's a bracket that's going to hold the window unit to the door frame, which we just take off. So we're going to have to take both of these off to do that. At this point I'm going to have to take off the screws. I'm going to take a 10 millimeter socket, and I'm going to try to take them off. I'm going to try to go in from this angle here, at least for the bottom one. I'm going to start with that one and just try to take that off here with the 10 millimeter socket. Okay, now that I got the screws loosened enough, I got it loose enough to take the holding bracket off. Okay, and so that just leaves me with the motor attached to the plastic housing. Okay, and to loosen that, I'm going to loosen the rest of the bolts all the way. Okay, so once I got the bolts off, I had to pull it off, and what I had to do is I had to take my putty knife again, and I had to kind of work around the edges and just kind of gently pry the black plastic gear housing away from the motor. It took a little bit of doing, and be careful when you do it so you try not to break it, because there's some plastic parts in the gear housing, but I was finally able to do it off. And once you're able to separate it, then you can take the old motor out. Okay? Okay, now putting the new motor, the replacement motor, should be the same as just as we took out the old one. So what we're going to do, you want to make sure when you order a replacement motor, okay, make sure that when you're working on the passenger side door, when you're looking at the motor, you want the plastic electrical connection on top. You want to make sure the motor and the gears are facing the right side. Okay, that's important because that's the side the gears are on. I made the mistake when I ordered the first motor, I think it was on Amazon. The motor they sent me, even though it said passenger side motor, the gears actually faced the left side, so we had to send that back. So make sure when you're looking and ordering a part online or something like that, make sure that the replacement motor, when you're looking at the motor with the black plastic electrical connection on the top, if the gears are facing on the right side of the motor, that's the correct motor for the passenger side power window. So let's put the new motor in that gear housing. Okay, and we'll line it up, and we'll just take the bolts and start re-putting them on the new one. Okay, now once you get all the bolts through from the plastic gear housing into the new motor, remember we're going to take our mounting plate, the motor mounting plate, and we're going to have to put that on and tighten the screws to the mounting plate so it's tight and nice and firm. Alright, now once you get the motor mounting bracket snug and tight again, now we can mount the bracket. Okay, remember we're going to just mount this bolt, so we're going to move these bolts right through these holes here. Okay, do you see that? And then once they're through the holes, we're just going to slide them down to where they rest in the locking area. Okay, we take our other starboard bolt, we can start threading that in the bottom. Okay, and we can tighten those up with the 30 number 30 star bit. Okay, you don't have to like over tighten it, don't over torque it, because otherwise you'll could pull through the sheet metal. So just snug. And let's try a test. Before we start putting everything back together again, let's plug in our electrical connection for our switch. Okay, let's try a test again. We're going to plug in our electrical connection, our power window button. Let's turn on the accessory key. Alright, and let's see if the window works. Ah, look at that. It works. Alright, we know we did it right then. So now, the rest of the matter is just putting the door panel back together. Ready to plug your switch. Okay, so there you have it. That's how to replace a power window motor in a 1999 Pontiac Grand Prix without having to take out the whole power window motor assembly and just replace the motor itself. Thanks for watching.